Are you eating keto, cutting carbs, doing everything right, yet your fat loss has stalled? Or worse, you're gaining weight. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Ketosis is not just about cutting carbs, it's about controlling insulin, supporting your liver, and allowing your body to trust that it can burn fat safely. And the truth is, many people unknowingly sabotage this process every single day, not with obvious sugar, but with hidden carb traps. These are the foods labeled healthy, the habits that seem harmless, the tiny decisions that quietly spike insulin and shut down fat burning for hours. And the most dangerous part, you won't feel it happening. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of your body like a hybrid car. It can run on sugar or it can run on fat. But every time insulin rises, even slightly, your body switches back to sugar mode and locks away your fat stores. So if your goal is fat loss, energy, and long-term metabolic health, this matters more than almost anything else you're doing. In this video, I'm going to break down 7 hidden carb traps that are silently knocking you out of ketosis. And more importantly, I'll show you exactly how to fix them using simple science-backed strategies. Because once you understand the real root cause, you stop guessing and start getting results. Let's get into it. Before we go deeper, let's quickly map out what we're going to uncover. Because once you see the pattern, everything starts to make sense. Here are the 6 science-backed insights behind why ketosis gets sabotaged. Hidden carbs spike insulin more than you think. Even small amounts of sneaky carbs, sauces, drinks, or packaged keto foods can trigger insulin and pause fat burning for hours. Your liver controls ketosis, not just your carb intake. If your liver is overloaded from stress, toxins, or excess protein, ketone production slows down, even if carbs are low. Healthy foods can still block fat-burning foods like fruits, milk, or certain nuts may seem clean. But metabolically, they can keep you out of ketosis. Frequent eating keeps insulin elevated all day. Even keto snacks can prevent your body from ever fully switching into fat-burning mode. Stress hormones like cortisol raise blood sugar internally. You can be doing keto perfectly, but chronic stress can push your body out of ketosis from the inside. Food labels can be misleading, especially net carbs. What the research shows is not all low-carb products behave the same way in your body. As we go through each hidden trap, I'll break it down like a whiteboard session, simple, clear, and practical, so you can immediately apply it in your daily routine. Let's start with one of the biggest mistakes I see, the foods people trust the most. Keto. Packaged foods. Let's start with one of the biggest mistakes I see every single day. People trusting keto-labeled packaged foods. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Just because something says low carb or keto-friendly on the label doesn't mean your body agrees. Many of these products are made with modified starches, maltodextrin, or sugar alcohols like Maltitol, ingredients that can still spike insulin almost like real sugar. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine someone hands you a drink and says, "Don't worry, it's not sugar, it's almost sugar." Your body doesn't care about the marketing. Your metabolism responds to the chemical structure, not the label. And what the research shows is certain sugar alcohols, especially maltitol, can raise blood glucose and insulin significantly, enough to pause ketosis. So you think you're doing everything right. But behind the scenes, insulin is rising, and your body switches out of fat-burning mode. Now here's the practical fix. First, simplify your food. Focus on whole, single-ingredient foods. Eggs, meat, fish, healthy fats like olive oil and butter. Second, if you do buy packaged foods, flip the label and look beyond net carbs. Watch for ingredients like maltitol tapioca starch, modified wheat starch. If you see those, treat it as a red flag. Third, test your body. If possible, check your blood glucose after eating these keto foods. Because your body's response is the truth, not the marketing. And here's the key point to remember. Ketosis is controlled by insulin, not labels. If this is helpful so far, consider subscribing. I break down complex metabolic science into simple, practical steps like this every day. Now, let's move to another hidden trap that looks healthy on the surface, but can quietly keep you stuck. Healthy sugars, fruit, honey, smoothies. Now let's talk about a trap that confuses almost everyone. Natural sugars, fruit, honey, smoothies, even fresh juices. These are often seen as healthy, and in many contexts, they are. But if your goal is ketosis and fat burning, the story changes completely. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Most of these foods are high in fructose, a type of sugar that is processed almost entirely by the liver. And remember, your liver is the engine of ketosis. So when fructose comes in, your liver has to prioritize processing that sugar first, which means ketone production gets pushed to the back seat. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of your liver like a factory with one main production line. If that line is busy dealing with incoming sugar, it can't produce ketones efficiently at the same time. So even if you're avoiding bread and rice, that daily smoothie or healthy snack could be silently blocking fat burning. What the research shows is that high fructose intake increases de novo lipogenesis, meaning your liver actually starts converting sugar into fat instead of burning fat. Now, here's the solution. And it's not about fear, it's about strategy. If you're trying to get into ketosis or break a plateau, temporarily remove high sugar fruits like bananas, mangoes, grapes. Avoid fruit juices and smoothies. They concentrate sugar and remove fiber. If you do eat fruit, choose low glycemic options like berries in small amounts. And most importantly, pair any carbs with fat and protein to slow down the insulin response. Because again, the goal is not just eating healthy, it's creating the right metabolic environment for fat burning. If this is making sense, take a moment to subscribe, because the next mistake is something even strict keto followers overlook. And it has nothing to do with sugar. Too much protein, yes, even on keto. Now, this one surprises a lot of people. You cut carbs. You avoid sugar. You increase protein. And yet, ketosis still isn't working. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Protein is essential. It supports muscle, hormones, and repair. But in excess, your body has a backup system called gluconeogenesis. This is where your body converts extra protein into glucose. So even if you're not eating carbs, your body is making its own sugar internally. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine you locked the front door to carbs, but left the back door wide open through excess protein. Your body is smart. If it senses more protein than it needs, it converts that surplus into glucose, which then raises insulin and slows down ketone production. Now, to be clear, protein itself does not kick you out of ketosis instantly, but too much, too often, especially in a high-frequency eating pattern, can keep insulin just high enough to block fat burning. What the research shows is that while gluconeogenesis is demand-driven, chronically high protein intake can still elevate insulin and reduce ketone levels, especially in people who are metabolically sensitive. So what's the solution? Think moderate protein, higher healthy fats. Here's a simple guideline. Aim for about 0.8 to 1.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. Avoid stacking multiple high-protein meals and snacks all day. Balance your plate with healthy fats, like eggs, butter, olive oil, and fatty cuts of meat. And here's a powerful strategy. Try spacing your meals. Give your body time to fully process nutrients and lower insulin between meals, because ketosis thrives in low insulin environments, not just low-carb diets. Now keep this in mind. It's not just what you eat, it's how your body processes it hormonally. Next, we're going to uncover a hidden trap that has nothing to do with food quantity, but everything to do with how often you eat, and it could be the reason your body never fully switches into fat-burning mode. Constant snacking, even if it's keto. Now let's talk about a mistake that looks harmless, even disciplined. But metabolically, it's one of the fastest ways to stall ketosis. Constant snacking, even if it's keto snacks, even if it's nuts, cheese, or fat bombs. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Every time you eat anything, your body releases insulin. Now, the spike may be small on keto, but if you're eating every 2 to 3 hours, those small spikes start to stack, and insulin never fully comes down. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of insulin like a light switch for fat burning. When insulin is low, fat burning is on. When insulin is elevated, fat burning is off. Now imagine flipping that switch on and off all day long. Your body never gets enough uninterrupted time to fully shift into deep ketosis. So even though you're eating the right foods, your timing is keeping you metabolically stuck. What the research shows is that extending time between meals allows insulin to drop, glycogen to deplete, and ketone production to rise more efficiently. This is why intermittent fasting works so powerfully, not because it's magic, but because it creates the hormonal environment your body needs. Now here's the practical fix. Start simple. Move from constant snacking to 3 structured meals per day, then gradually compress into 2 meals, 12, 16-hour fasting window. Avoid mindless bites. Even small snacks reset the insulin response. And here's a powerful habit. When you feel the urge to snack, ask yourself, am I truly hungry or just used to eating? Because real metabolic hunger feels different. If this is helping you see things differently, consider subscribing. I break down these hidden metabolic patterns so you can finally get results without guessing. Now here's where it gets even more interesting. The next trap has nothing to do with food at all, but it can raise your blood sugar internally, even if your diet is perfect. Hidden trap. 5. Stress and cortisol, the internal sugar spike. Now this is the trap almost no one talks about. You can be doing keto perfectly. Clean foods, no carbs, no snacking. And still, your body refuses to enter deep ketosis. Here's what's really going on inside your body. When you're under stress, whether it's emotional, lack of sleep, or even overexercising, your body releases a hormone called cortisol. Cortisol's job is survival. It tells your body something is wrong. We need quick energy. So what does your body do? It raises blood sugar by pulling glucose from your liver, even if you didn't eat any carbs. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine your body has a hidden emergency fuel reserve. When stress hits, cortisol opens that reserve and floods your system with sugar, just in case you need to fight or run. But in modern life, there's no tiger to escape. So that sugar stays elevated. Insulin rises to deal with it. And just like that, ketosis is shut down from the inside. What the research shows is that chronic cortisol elevation is directly linked to insulin resistance, increased belly fat, and impaired fat oxidation. So you might blame your diet, but the real issue is your stress physiology. Now here's the solution. And this is where most people underestimate the power of simple habits. Prioritize deep sleep, 7 to 8 hours. This is when cortisol resets. Add morning sunlight exposure. Helps regulate your circadian rhythm. Practice slow breathing, 4 to 5 minutes, to calm your nervous system. Avoid excessive high-intensity workouts if you're already stressed. And here's a key mindset shift. Fat loss is not just about food. It's about creating a body that feels safe enough to burn fat. Now remember this. You can't out-diet chronic stress. Next, we're going to uncover another hidden trap, one that looks very technical on the surface. But once you understand it, you'll never trust food labels the same way again. Net carbs and misleading labels. Now let's expose one of the most misunderstood concepts in the entire keto space. Net carbs. You've probably seen this on packaging, only 2G net carbs. Subtract fiber and sugar alcohols. Sounds simple, but here's what's really going on inside your body. Your metabolism does not read labels. It responds to how ingredients are actually digested, absorbed, and processed hormonally. And the truth is, not all fibers and sugar alcohols are metabolically neutral. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine someone tells you, this food doesn't count, just ignore half of it. But when it enters your body, your system says, no, I'm processing more of this than you think. For example, some processed fibers, like tapioca fiber, can still raise blood glucose. Certain sugar alcohols, like maltitol, can spike insulin significantly. Even low-net carb foods can create a cumulative insulin response when eaten regularly. What the research shows is that individual responses to these ingredients vary, but many people experience unexpected glucose spikes, even when staying within net carb limits. So if you're relying on labels alone, you may be unknowingly blocking ketosis every single day. Now here's the practical fix. Shift your focus from net carbs to total metabolic impact. Here's how. Prioritize whole foods over packaged keto products. Be cautious with anything labeled low net carb, especially if it has a long ingredient list. When in doubt, test your response using a glucose or ketone monitor if possible. And here's a powerful rule to remember. If it needs a label to convince you it's keto, it probably isn't ideal. Keep your approach simple, clean, consistent, because the goal isn't to hack the system, it's to work with your physiology. Now, in the final section, we'll bring everything together. And I'll give you a clear, practical roadmap to fix these hidden traps and restart your fat-burning engine. So let's bring this all together. Because by now, you can see the pattern. Ketosis is not just about avoiding bread, sugar, or obvious carbs. It's about controlling one master switch, insulin. Every hidden trap we discussed, from keto-packaged foods, to fruit sugars, to excess protein, to constant snacking, to stress, to misleading labels, they all point back to one thing. They keep insulin elevated, just enough to block fat burning. And here's the key insight I want you to walk away with. Your body is not broken. It's responding exactly the way it was designed to, but it needs the right signals. So here's your simple, practical roadmap. Start with just one change today. Replace processed keto foods with whole, real foods. Create clear gaps between meals. Give your body time to lower insulin. Keep protein moderate, not excessive. Reduce hidden sugars, even the healthy ones. Support your body with sleep, sunlight, and stress control. You don't need perfection. You need consistency with the right fundamentals. Because when insulin comes down, your body regains access to its most powerful fuel source, stored fat. Energy improves, cravings drop, mental clarity sharpens, and fat loss becomes sustainable. So here's your challenge. Pick one trap you recognized in your own routine and eliminate it for the next 3 days. Just observe. Track your energy, your hunger, your focus, because when you start working with your metabolism, everything begins to change. And if this helped you understand your body at a deeper level, make sure to like this video and subscribe, because this channel is dedicated to helping you optimize your health naturally, one step at a time. I'll see you in the next one. Before you go, I want to ask you something important. Out of these hidden carb traps, which one are you struggling with the most right now? Is it the keto snacks, the constant snacking habit, or maybe stress that you didn't even realize was affecting your metabolism? Drop it in the comments. Because when you identify the real problem, you take the first step toward fixing it. And here's something I want you to remember. Most people don't fail keto because they lack discipline. They fail because they're missing clarity. They're doing what they think is right, but metabolically, their body is getting mixed signals. And now you're different. Now you understand how insulin, liver function, and hormones actually control fat burning. So you're no longer guessing. You're making informed decisions. And that's where real transformation begins. If you want to go deeper, I recommend you watch my next video on how to restart fat burning when keto stops working, because that's the natural next step after fixing these hidden traps. And if you're serious about optimizing your metabolism, energy, and long-term health, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications, because I post content like this regularly to help you take control of your health naturally. I'll see you in the next video.